Okay, show of hands, how many of you actually remember Roswell Conspiracy? If you didn't, I don't blame you because it was made back in 1999, and that point of a decade, that was sort of a huge rivalry of Saturday cartoons. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about because you have a lot of different rivals like the Fox Kids Network or the Fox Box Network or One Saturday Morning Network, and this was actually the fourth network that was sort of rivals to the rest of the three I mentioned, but can never really keep up. Network called B&K Network, and they was sort of desperate to make another cartoon to actually grab people's attention called the Roswell Conspiracy. And in fact, it was somewhat semi-successful. In fact, this cartoon fell into one of my segments I like to call Forgotten Cartoons. Now, this is the first time on my channel. I do a segment once a month focusing on an old cartoon that actually wasn't not that successful. Specifically, I have rules sort of determining if it fits this sort of segment. First rule had to be 1 to 2 seasons, maybe 3. The second rule was popular but kind of forgotten. Third rule is was popular but a completely different country, not United States. Or the fourth rule that is most important, I will break my rules, depends the case by case of the show, how popular, how was it, in other words. Anyway, let's start talking about Roswell Conspiracy. This show lasted about 2 seasons, a total of 40 episodes, also giving out 2 different video games, one PS1 and one at GBA, and I think also in comic book, but I could be wrong, I'm not 100% sure about that. But besides that, describe the show, think of it sort of inside job means Men in Black, but done completely differently, and also the same genre of those 2 shows. But the reason why it grabs me this show, it also reminds me so well about this show, is sort of how they use their conspiracy theories. I think the best example is for our main lead, Logan, that he is sort of a bounty hunter trying to hunt the next bounty he has to hunt. But unknowingly, he hunts someone by accident because he didn't thought what he really was, a werewolf. And this is the thing, he's not a werewolf. A fact that's just a myth. The reality is it was an alien, people trying to interpret it as a werewolf. Once again, using the myth and legends and also theories and make it on sort of storyline of this show. Not just him, other different recognizable theories, legends, or gods were basically aliens, but reinterpret them because how strange and weird they actually are. In fact, you have factions of them. One is the werewolf or a different tribe called the Lycans. You also have the vampires who actually were aliens, but in fact they're sort of snakes type of vampires. Once again, using that sort of creativity, explaining what type of race they are and how they were interpreted. Again, this is the thing that sort of hooks you, is the fact our main lead called Logan, who was sort of hunting his next prison person for his bounty, but accidentally finding out this thing is not a person, it was a liking. So he started freaking out and trying to understand what's actually going on, to the agency came in and took this person because they attempted to hire him to capture him to see what Logan does, if he is experienced enough to join inside the organization. During this time, a memory triggered by Logan. It's all about his father, but he realized, no, that's not my father. My father is sort of in the hospital. That doesn't make sense. Why I keep calling this person in my memories my father? And that's the thing grabs you, asking other questions because Logan is unsure about his memories. In fact, he comes to talk to his father, telling him is something true and false. He cannot actually explain it. You have to explore and look for it yourself. And that's the thing, it just grabs you. The mystery of Logan, who he is. He also realized all his life story, all his memories are technically could be lies. His real father was kidnapped, but he doesn't know he's alive. And this fake father pretended to be him so many years that he's not sure who this person is. But before he confront him, actually have a conversation, he was taken away. Once again, wondering what's going on, who's taking my family, and who I actually am. And this one sort of falls into the alliance. The the original organization who basically hunt aliens and cover up everything. This is the thing what the show grabs you so well. The questioning, the theories, what is real, what is not. And make this show extra creative. It also what they make it so good is a relation of the colonel who runs this alliance organization with Logan. Because the very beginning you do question the alliance sort of plans. Everything they do is super questionable because Logan doesn't want to follow the rules, but he has no choice to join this organization to find the truth what happened to his fake dad, his real dad, and the reason why he doesn't have the memories he should have. And that's the thing, his relationship with the colonel and Logan, that he knows he's lying. Every time he set him on a mission or do something, he's always trying to maybe kill him or give him the wrong information or do something very questionable. He has the sort of reason. In fact, I think the best episodes of this series is focused on things that are basically their job. They're basically the people who cover up everything about aliens. I think one of the best episodes is a reporter getting a bulletin so they got interrupted by a UFO landed next to a hotel, and we just see their point of view, and the alliance slowly and steadily started covering everything and getting the reports the wrong information. But they flipped the script because doing this sort of cover up looking went rogue because one of the aliens could be information to actually showing the truth, but that's sort of in between everything what's going on. Should I trust this alien or trust the alliance? On top of this, you have to keep doing your job because the reporters are getting closer and knowing the truth. And this is why the show grabs your attention. The sort of criteria is so duality of the situation. I think one of the best thing about this series is the colonel. How truly questionable and evil he really is. The character is just a very interesting villain because marrying his sort of relationship with Logan and what happened to his father and the reasons why the colonel trying to protect human race is sort of understandable, but at the same time very questionable. To the very end you realize what he actually doing because the whole show is building up to one big thing. Yeah, I'm sort of surprised because this series has continuity. You basically need to watch every single episode to see what actually happens. Of course, there is a couple of bad things. One of the biggest problems is you really don't get to know Logan that much. I mean, you do. It's like the first 18 episodes is sort of slow. I mean, it's sort of, they do a lot of action, and the action is good, especially sort of 90s type of action because some of the styles is sort of ridiculous. But how they did it back in the 90s. If you see the couple of episodes, you know what I mean. That sort of lighting, that sort of blurred immersion. But once again, that's the style of the 90s. But because it has so much action, it didn't allow you to rest or at least understand Logan that much. At least the first 18 episodes. Because the action could bore you. But because the twists, turns, and drama and theories keep your intention to see the very end. I do admit it's a drag a couple of episodes, but when it gets going, it does get going because the thought what they're actually doing is interesting. One of the biggest, funnest thing about this show is sort of the crypticity, how they have to hide aliens or foreign people, how they cover up or how they blackmail other people to make sure they keep the narrative and protect the human race of the aliens because they have to have a sector working on that 24/7. It's sort of like a running gang. These two teammates had to cover up and be creative and be kind of weird and wacky just to make BS on the spot. The second greatest strength about this show is the fact because they're not very advanced organization because they have high-tech alien equipment, but sometimes they don't know what it is or don't have the equipment to, let's say, go out of space. They have ships to run faster, but they don't have ships to pass the Earth. So it needs to be creative to, they say, hunt down an alien out of space. So they look for sort of areas that aliens are harassing human beings, take their ship and use that to get out of the Earth. Once again, that sort of creativity sort of situation make this show so much fun. Of course, I have to describe this show is sort of underrated. It's not perfect. In fact, I said it before, it does drag a couple of episodes, but it's sort of deserving sort of a reboot. In fact, I actually find out they attempted to do a reboot back in 2019, and posted to come out back in 2021. Right now we're at 2022. I guess it was delayed because the pandemic, but I don't know if they can continue making the reboot or not. This type of show, it does deserve. In fact, it's one of the series that it wasn't perfect, but the ideas, the creativity, and the drama making this show so worth it, because it never really make the show the full potential, maybe because it was sort of trying to drag a storyline to get more people get into it. But all that, they have a lot of stuff to work with as a reboot. Hopefully the reboot will come out. Honestly, I just cross my fingers. Now this show has balls of steel because they tackle very touching subject matter. For example, about war. Second, basically about racism. Third is about betraying your own people. Each one of them very touchy subject matter, but this show tend to tackle them, and sort of 60% was successful, 40% not really, because the subject matter is sort of dedicated. You needed these 2 episodes to actually fully explore that sort of subject matter, but at the very end, it never really talked down to you. It actually respect you. We are gonna have fun. This is the reason why I respect Roswell Conspiracy, because at the very end is there to entertain you and maybe make you think once in a while. I have one question: how you felt about the show? You ever heard of it? You didn't? Type it down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.